Shubh Deepavali, belated Shubh Deepavali, but at the same time, in United States, in Canada, people are celebrating Deepavali at this point of time because this morning we had the webinar from the United States, from California, and they were preparing for Shubh Deepavali. So ladies and gentlemen, in the different parts, different continents, different countries, we extend you a very warm welcome for yet another very powerful, dynamic, dedicated leadership of our two leaders. One is our President, Professor Pornthep Narula ji, and under the dynamic leadership of Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji, the designated president, and he takes over the reins on 13th of January 2021. And of course, when I talk about ASEAN, it is Mr. Sandeep Majumdar, my colleague, my guide, my philosopher, who takes the journey ahead. And whatever you see, the good cerebrum shaking every Sunday at 3 p.m., it is his efforts, it's his dedication. So I am just a vocal cord and a voice, but it is basically this golden triangle: the present president, the future president, and Mr. Sandeep Majumdar, the advisor to ICSI. This evening, indeed, it's a great privilege. People, those are joining from world over, we extend a very hearty welcome to you from different countries, from the different continents, in the different time zones, in the different conditions, wherever you are. We only pray to Almighty, your health, your wellness, your everything has to take care of. Yesterday, Deepavali was celebrated and enjoyed in Delhi, and things are a little concerned over there. So I only pray to Almighty that things move much better. Now, a very warm welcome to Mr. Han Pang Kwong, the Deputy CEO, Phillip Bank, Cambodia. Now, the gentleman, he is at present based in Malaysia, and we extend him a very warm welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just show you a few slides and hearty welcome. I know it's quite late, but people are still celebrating in the middle of the night in Canada, in United States, in Latin America, and then people have enjoyed their brunch in European Union, and people have enjoyed their evening tea and coffee as far as Central Asia, South Asia, and going a little further, that is ASEAN, the beautiful place and beautiful countries and beautiful region, 650 million plus population over there. And then, of course, as it's 3 o'clock, so Indian Standard Time. So people are joining us from South Korea, Taiwan, and a couple of places in Japan also. So we extend a very hearty welcome. And of course, how can I forget Mauritius, Seychelles, and Africa? They are also with us on board. So Middle East also, a lot of people are joining. So hearty welcome to all of you. Pleasure to have you. Let's move in our journey 330. International Chamber for Service Industry, which is for the non-resident Indians and the people, Indian diaspora, those have gone abroad in different countries. And we take care of about 30 million plus people. And we are a link between India and the non-resident Indians. And from time to time, the various policies, what has to be done, that part is to be taken care of. We come live in the morning at 9 a.m. and we finish at 9 p.m., 12 hours complimentary services throughout the world, which we are beaming during this pandemic. This slide is the most important. Those are joining us for the first time world over, kindly click this slide so that you should know where we are, what are we doing, when are we doing, so that you can take a benefit of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days, teachers and youth empowerment. Then Friday, we come to water management strategies, and Mr. Anil Manocha ji, our senior advisor based out of Singapore, he is doing a commendable, remarkable work for all of us, how to save every drop of water. Last week, he brought Malaysia expert. That is just Friday. Today is Sunday. Friday, he brought an expert from Malaysia. Before that, from South Africa. Before that, he brought expertise on Brazil. Before that, what all is happening in India. So a couple of things are on the way. So water management strategies under the dynamic, dedicated leadership of our senior advisor based out of Singapore, Mr. Anil Manochaji. Then we take you every Saturday all the way to Swami Vivekanandji, and over there, education and youth empowerment. It is Sudeep ji who is our advisor on this particular program, and a wonderful, remarkable learning. So much we are picking up from there to empower the youth. And every Sunday, we have got morning program at 9:30 from United States, California. That is Professor Satinder Diwan. The doors of Universal Studios open, and right in front, the Woodbury University, California, Burbank. And we get you the program 9:30 to 11. Now it is 3 o'clock where we have got a special program on ASEAN, and ASEAN linking up with India. And I always make a humble request that northeast part of India is beautiful. That got to be linked with the ASEAN in a great way. And then don't forget to join us 8 p.m. every Sunday evening. We have got a special program from the non-resident Indians, and there's a brainstorming session every Sunday, and that is at 8 p.m. What exactly the non-resident Indians are doing in FDI, FII, intellectual capital, innovations, research, networking, global networking, and openings for what all is to be done for the humanity. That is on every Sunday at 8 p.m. Don't forget to join us. Now, yesterday was, celebrations of Shubh Deepavali in India. So Ayurveda program, which is for your global wellness, that is held every Saturday, 6:30 to 7:15 p.m. There's a popular demand of 400 million youth. So there's another innovative program started that is at 12:30 to 1:30, but that is in Hindi, because it is for Hindi belt, particularly all the youth, those are interested to learn something in Hindi, because all other programs are in English. So they requested, why don't you have a program for Hindi belt also? So this is a motivational program, inspirational program, education empowerment program, what all is happening world over. And sometime I laugh when I will introduce Mr. Han today. That is the time I'll try and remember at the age of 72. I only hope I don't forget. But something very amusing and stimulating I will discuss with you. If I forget, please do remind me, because at this age, sometime I'm likely to forget certain humorous things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special program which we bring, which I told you. It's on water saving, it's on water management, it's Mr. Anil Manocha, and various strategies being discussed. Honorable Education Minister of India's daughter, she is associated with us, and she has got a project called Sparsh Ganga, and from world over, we all are working in that direction. And she was special guest of honor, and she presided over the function with the Honorable Water Resources Minister with us on the World Youth Day, World Teachers Day. That was 12th of August, World Youth Day, when we celebrated. This evening, we have got a very special program. All boys and girls, young boys and girls, teachers, educators, counselors, trainers, polytechnics, ITIs, and of course, those are interested to start their own business. If you want to get your finances, if you want to get government support, if you want to know what all Indian government is doing, what exactly is coming up in MSME. So this evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ravindranath ji, the former CMD of the NSIC, under the aegis of micro, small, and the medium enterprise, and now the chairman of our chamber for the MSME sector, will share with all of you thread by thread everything you will come to know. What are the government policies, what all government is offering, where from to get the financial support, how to proceed, and at the same time, in ASEAN, we call it SME sector, and Mr. Sandeep Majumdar ji had brought a very special program on that. I'm thankful to him. So people, those are in ASEAN, and those are interested to get across to India, and we want to get some collaboration, then this evening at 5 p.m. is the time, Indian Standard Time, when you will hear and you will get to know And this is all in the PPT form so that there is no language barrier. It doesn't create a problem, no hiccups. Everything you will get in black and white from Mr. Rabindranath this evening. Don't forget, MSME or SME, both are being taken into consideration. And this is every Sunday in the evening when we are moving to, basically world over in the different countries. Today you will have 4 Yodhas, 4 warriors and 4 legends. They will be with us from United States and they will talk about basically the new education policy of India and creating a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in India. This is at 8 p.m. So today it is totally dedicated to finance management, entrepreneurship, MSME, SME, and at the same time, innovations, what all has to be done. Our chamber always very strongly believe that whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make education relevant because that is the base, that is the platform onto which the entire human growth is there. So all of us, we should come together. Here we have listed the email for you. At the same time, you have got the mobile number. So we would request you kindly reach out, be in touch with us. Should you wish to become a panelist, should you wish to give any suggestions, you're more than welcome because every suggestion is so valuable for us. And education is the only one which can bring global peace. We all want world global peace. We are proud of Professor Pornthep Narula ji, the President of International Chamber for Service Industry, based out of Thailand, and he is the one under his dynamic leadership. Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji takes over the President of ICSI on 13th of January 2021, and he is the Chairman of the ASEAN-India Business Council Malaysia Chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not getting into the too much of details because all these are available. This is a live telecast on the YouTube, and you can see this program whenever you feel like. We have got Mr. Han Pang Kwong, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Phillip Bank, Cambodia. Mr. Han Pang Kwong, he's a chartered banker and over 25 years of experience in commercial banking industry in both Malaysia and Cambodia, a passionate and a strong believer in the digital banking transformation using technology to meet the needs of the customers, and that is economical, faster and efficient way. Key strategy for success is the relentless pursuit of the great customer experience at the core of the mission of the bank. So we extend a very hearty welcome to Mr. Han Pang Kwong, and this voice is coming to you with the help of Mr. Sandeep Majumdar, the President of the Indian Chamber of Commerce, Cambodia. He is the Chairman and Managing Director of Curewell International. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the person who is packaging the entire vision and the entire program together for all of us. We extend a hearty welcome to all of you. A pleasure to have all of you. It's a great evening for all of us, and it's a great morning, it's a great afternoon. And people have started saying during COVID now, green morning, green afternoon, green evening. So we would also say the same thing, green morning, green afternoon, green evening. And I hand you over in a very safe hands and join me in welcoming Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji, Mr. Han, and Mr. Sandeep Majumdar ji.
Thank you, Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji. It was just, I think, a few days back that we clapped for the 3rd century of ICSI's webinar. And I don't know whether you, in cricket, when we used to play, it was 4 runs and 6 runs. I don't know, you were hitting 8 runs or 10 runs. The speed that you are going, it is unbelievable. So I congratulate the entire ICSI team under the dynamic leadership of Professor Narula and incoming President Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji, who is based in Malaysia. Now, as we, ICSI and Chamber, we try to bring in new concepts, new topics every evening, every Sunday. The last 2 Sundays, as Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji informed you all, it was mostly on SME sector. And SME sector and banking is something we wanted to correlate because that is where the small entrepreneurs and the startup people are looking forward to. So that's what we discussed, 3 of us. We discussed that since we had past two Sundays on SME. So it is relevant that we take the banking sector next, so that we can probably, with your guidance, with your experience, Mr. Han, you will be able to guide us how the SME sectors and the startups can look up to the banking sector to start what they want to, the dreams that the young people have in their mind. And that is why I thought, viewers, today's main speaker is Mr. Han, who is actually a Malaysian working for a Singapore company and is based in Cambodia. It's a beautiful mix. And he has been in Cambodia for the last 15 years. And the previous bank which he was working, anybody knows about it, is a public bank, which was, I think, one of the biggest banks. Public Bank and MAICCI are the biggest banks of Malaysia. So, in fact, I would not waste time. I will come back to Mr. Han after inviting. First, I would like to invite Dato Ramesh Kodammal. Dato Ramesh Kodammal, as Dr. Gulshan said, needs no introduction. He is been in the industry for more than 47 years. He has been looking and practically monitoring and guiding SME sectors for so many years, for almost 5 decades. And he brings with him a vast experience of knowledge in every single sector that we can think of. So Dato Ramesh Kodammal, we look forward for your valuable tips for this evening with the topic of banking sector and how it can help in the SME and startups. Over to you, Ramesh Kodammal.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. A very good evening to all of you, and to all listeners, a very happy Diwali. It is a wonderful occasion for all of us to celebrate. I know we have got a lot of restrictions during the COVID, but nevertheless, this is another experience which we'll go through. We are close with our families, very close friends who are with us during this COVID in our celebration. We must appreciate it, that whatever we can do during this time, we are just doing it. Today is, in fact, another landmark day in the history where a trade agreement is concerned. Today, ASEAN has signed the Regional Economic Comprehensive Agreement, Partnership Agreement, which comprises of China, Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and 10 ASEAN countries. This is a landmark agreement which has been signed today, involving 1/3 of the world population. So this is something which is very important to all of us. It is a little regretful, being the co-chair of ASEAN-India, I was not able to convince India to join into this agreement, which India should have joined it. But nevertheless, we have still opened our doors for India, telling them to come to join us in this RCEP agreement. But today we have concluded it. We are moving forward with ASEAN plus the 6 countries which I mentioned: China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. So I think it's a landmark agreement. This is considered the biggest trade agreement in the world as of today. So looking at this, I think we should be positively motivated to see that things are happening. Today, as we all know, that China has got vast investments in ASEAN. Japan, Korea have all got a lot of investments in ASEAN. And now we are moving towards Australia and New Zealand, which needs ASEAN market for their exports. I think the world is becoming closer in this region. And we hope and pray that India too would one day look into it positively and come up with something. We know that they have got their own problem. They have got their domestic market problem. But nevertheless, no one is indispensable. We all have to work together to move forward. I hope that we understand that and we move forward. And I will always advocate on that platform to see that ASEAN, India, and the region works together for the benefit. So with that news today, I think our Malaysian Prime Minister has also made another statement yesterday telling that ASEAN, India must work very closely to improve ties and strengthen our relationship. So looking at what the statements are coming from all the leaders in ASEAN, they feel that ASEAN is taking a step further to work more closely with India, and I hope that the ASEAN-India Free Trade Agreement will be reviewed and there will be some better deals which will come in for ASEAN and India, where we can strengthen our trade and relationship to greater heights in the coming years. So I think this is all good news which is happening. On the other side, we have the COVID, which we have it, and we know that there's a lot of destruction in the business world. And our banker friend, Mr. Han, is here. I think he'll be explaining to us later the real need of the help which banks have to support the SMEs, especially. Whenever there's a crisis, the businesses which are affected, the first thing what they look for is finance. They have to sustain. Without sustaining their businesses, they cannot take the agenda forward. So I think the banks are here in ASEAN side. We in Malaysia, we have already gone through our moratorium process. The government budget has actually allocated quite a bit for the SMEs. I think Singapore has done the same thing. Other ASEAN countries are doing the same thing. But still, we feel that more needs to be done for the SMEs. I can't speak for India because India has got its own constraints where the Reserve Bank is concerned. I do not know how the structure of the moratorium worked. I believe that some interests have been waived off during the moratorium period in India for businesses, which is something good. I believe that still the banks are providing funding to the SMEs to come out of this situation. But the challenges still stay. Even if the banks support the SMEs, the challenges are still there. When the moratorium was given, most of the businesses used up the funds because their businesses were not functioning for the last 6 months. So they had expenses. Some rentals were waived during the moratorium, but still there were some rentals to be paid, some wages to be paid. Businesses were down. So the moratorium helped them to cover up their expenses. Now we have to inject capital again to see how we can grow the businesses. So it's a different structure again. So when you go to a bank today and ask them for some funds, they look at your balance sheet, they'll say the last 6 months you don't have business. So how are you going to prove yourself to get further funding? I think the banker will, what you call that, who is on the panel today, will explain to us. It's not an easy task for businesses to go forward and get further funding for business when they have got a negative revenue, negative profits in their balance sheet. Is difficult. But then again, you have the GLCs and PLCs who can work on a certain area where they can issue out some bonds or whatever it is to get funds injected into their companies and move forward. So I think finance actually is a game player in this COVID. Anyone who has got finance and who can sustain might be able to overcome this situation. People who have invested in properties, they do not have tenants at this point. They can't collect rentals at this point. They can't pay their housing loans and business loans at this time. So there's another problem in the property sector. So combining all these areas, what we are facing today, I think we have to be we must have an awareness on what is provided, what can be obtained from banks, if there are any grants available from the government. SMEs have to be very focused to see how they can actually move out of this situation. Because today, if you see another news which is coming in today, they said the COVID vaccine is there, but the vaccine, everyone won't be able to get it immediately. It might drag on up to 2024. Only the rich nations would be able to buy these vaccines earlier, and the poorer nations in the world will again have to hold on things because the vaccine too costs money. So this is the latest news today, which is out, that this might go on up to 2024, even though the vaccine being out. So I think we have to be very careful because every day we are getting some different news. So the SMEs must be very careful in their planning. The businesses must be very careful in their planning. And I hope that the bankers can actually support them and work towards something which we can move forward. With this, I think I would like to say thank you to Gulshan ji for doing a wonderful job. I think his chamber is excellent. I think I've always told him the record he might be breaking could be in the Guinness Book of Records for having 3-4 webinars daily. And today, I believe it's 313, if I'm not mistaken. Gulshan ji, am I right? 313 today? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I think
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope we carry on with this, and wherever it is, we hope all those who are listening to us, please pick up whatever you require from us, implement it in your daily work, try to see what can be done, and support each other and move on for the recovery during this COVID period. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji. Yes.
You remember, Majumdar ji, I was telling at my age I am supposed to forget certain things. And
Yes, you have. You
I
have.
really forgot. And
Yes,
I
you
wanted
really
to-
forgot. I took a
No,
note
no.
of it.
I
From
wanted to-
71, you increased it to 72 in just 1 month.
No. October it has become 72, na? October. Now this is
okay.
December going on, 3rd October.
I
That is
see,
my
I see.
that is my birthday. So
Okay.
what I wanted to share with Mr.
Han.
Han, Mr. Han, very interesting, and that's what I was telling you. Remind me, there is a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure Mr. Han must have read that book. And I always wonder, my one question which has not been answered till date, why don't we teach finance, basic finance in schools, in colleges, and in universities? We do not intentionally teach finance. What is the reason? And this book, which is basically by Robert T. Kiyosaki, if you read this particular book, you will realize his father was a professor, his father was a teacher. So I personally strongly recommend at all stages, whether school or colleges or universities, basic finance should be taught to everybody. Everybody should know basic finance. With these words, I hand over to Sandeep Majumdar.
Thank you, Dr. Gulshan ji. Yes, I think you are very right in saying so, that finance, in whether it is a person doing a small business on the roadside, or it is a person who is in the service sector, or entrepreneur, or a CEO of a company, finance, even at home, if you see, unless you know how to manage your finances, it becomes difficult to move on. So you're absolutely right, Dr. Gulshan ji. And yes, well noted, Ramesh Kodammal ji, your points, and congratulations for this historic agreement between ASEAN and the other 6+. And we hope in near future, India also will be able to join. Now I remember in 1997, when I came into this country, before that, of course, I used to travel from other countries while based in Singapore. I remember those days, there were limited banks. And if I'm not mistaken, it was about, to start a bank, the deposit was about $7 million US. And over the period of time, it grew to 14, from 14 to 24, and so on and so forth. And today, it stands around 75 million for a deposit for starting a commercial bank. So this goes to prove a point that banking sector has developed over these 2.5 decades time. And there are the very existence of 40 plus 45, 48 banks, international banks, which are here in Cambodia, speaks volume of the business and the business that is there. And probably I would say the banking sector, which has grown, the dependency and expectations of the people. I remember there was earlier days, there were people, I would say of the local people, who were not much believing of the banking system. They used to prefer keeping the cash in the house. So this has happened. And in 1997, when there was a unfortunate incidents of a coup happened, there were a lot of banks which closed down overnight. So there was a system. It took a little bit of time for people to again have faith in banking system. But the way I would appreciate the way the banks have come in from a Japan bank, Malaysia. Malaysia, I think this is one of the biggest number of banks which has come from Malaysia is the highest in Cambodia. Maybank, Public Bank, OSK, and whatnot. So many banks. Singapore, so many banks. You have Japan banks, you have Chinese banks, you have so many banks. We did have one Indian bank also here, but I think they have some operational issues. But what I'm saying is that people have trust in bank. People are welcoming more and more banks, which shows that the country is stable and progressing. Cambodia, if you see, has maintained a robust growth with low and manageable inflation, which paves a favorable path for the banking sector's continuous development. Fintech is playing an important role in the financial inclusions, giving more financial access to residents in rural areas. Cambodian banking sector has been developing very fast in the past few years, thanks to the sound macroeconomic stability and investment-friendly policies of the government. This banking sector in Cambodia is growing both in scale and in scope, surely and inclusively. Assets in the banking has increased to 114% of the GDP. This was last year's figure. I'm not sure about this year. Technological development has significantly contributed to expanding and strengthening banking sectors in Cambodia as well as the ASEAN region. Banks and financial institutions has increased the use of technology and introduced new financial products and services. This has resulted into a greater convenience to the daily lives of the customers through cost reduction and less time spent by both bank and their customers. Today, if you see, Cambodia is a lower middle income country and has a bright future ahead as Cambodia continues to develop its strengths, skills, and people. Now, today we have a very senior person, Mr. Han, who would be talking about this in detail. He is a specialized person who will talk about the banking sector overall in Cambodia, how their bank is functioning. I would like to tell the viewers that Mr. Han initially was working with Public Bank, which is, as you all know, and now the Philip Bank which he is now representing as Deputy CEO, is the third largest bank in Cambodia. When I met him, I think they had about 6 branches in the country, and today there are over 90 branches as we speak. So congratulations, Mr. Han, and you are the actor of today's cinema. We are all, Mr. Gulshan, Dr. Gulshan, Mr. Ramesh, we are all, we are just supporting you from here. You are the main role player. So I invite you to give your presentation and enlighten us with what can be done to help the SME sectors from the banking sector. Over to you, Mr. Han.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Samdeep. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are. Also, thanks to Dato Gulshan and Dato Ramesh and Mr. Samdeep for this invitation to join this ICSI Global Conference this afternoon. And yeah, like Mr. Samdeep has mentioned, I'll be sharing more towards my experience, my knowledge, more or less about banking industry and SME in Cambodia, because this is where I've been staying and working for the past 15 years, since 2005. And yeah, we have seen the Cambodia country has grown by leaps and bounds over the past 15 years that I was here. Now there are high rises everywhere, all over in Phnom Penh. And the economy has been growing very, very well over the past decade, by about 7%, average about 7% growth every year, until we are hit by this COVID-19 pandemic this year. So according to the latest forecast by ADB, Cambodia will experience a negative 4% growth, negative 4% contraction in the GDP this year. So yeah, like everywhere else, SME sectors, business sectors are suffering everywhere, all over Cambodia. And I will share later about what has the government, what has the bank and government came, and how they support the SME industry in Cambodia. And okay, basically, for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share a little bit about banking in Cambodia, about some background about Philip Bank, and finally, what has the government been supporting in terms of supporting the SME during this very, very challenging period of time, right? And to answer Dr. Gulshan's question just now about why we have not started teaching financial literacy to the schools, to the universities in this country. So what happened is that actually National Bank of Cambodia actually took the initiative to start, in fact, to teach primary school students about some basic financial literacy. What is savings account? How do you calculate interest rate, and how to get the best interest rate, and all this about about currency exchange, because in Cambodia we are basically US dollarized economy. You use a lot of US dollar, but there's also Khmer Ringgit. So, and the government also encouraging the people to use Khmer Ringgit in their daily transactions, and that's on the government side. And on the bank side, on the Philip Bank, I can talk on behalf of Philip Bank, but I'm sure some actions are also being taken by other banks in Cambodia, whereby we actually go out and teach. Because Philip Bank now, we have a whole range of businesses. We extend a loan right down from the micro loan, SME loan, retail loan, corporate, all the way to corporate loans. So when we give loans to these SMEs, to the farmers in the provinces, we actually go and also talk to them and teach them some basic skill about financial literacy. How do you make sure, how do you save money, how do you invest your money, how to have a proper accounting. That's what we have, a team of people who actually goes down the field to actually play our part to teach to educate our borrowers some financial literacy information or knowledge, to equip them, to help them so that they can manage their money, so that they don't use whatever profit that they get at the end of the day and spend it on buying motorcycles, buying TV, but how to use it to invest, to grow their business further. So that's what our Philip Bank in Cambodia, we take our, we have played our part, small little role probably, but I agree that the government as a whole should be taken a larger and more widespread approach, more systemized approach to teach financial literacy to all the populations in Cambodia. Right. So if I may, I'd like to share some this PowerPoint presentation so that I can start my presentation going forward. Right. Can I share screen?
Wait, all yours.
All right.
Yes, so, we can see.
Slideshow from beginning. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Banking sector and its importance to SME. So this is the topic that Mr. Sandeep has asked me to share this morning or this afternoon or today, Sunday. Yeah, but before that, let me also wish everybody a happy or Shubh Deepawali to all my Indian friends who are celebrating Deepawali yesterday. Right. So banking sector and its importance to SME. I can only talk about SME sector in Cambodia because this is where I've been living here for the past 15 years. I know a little bit more about Cambodia compared to other countries. But I think by and large, we know that businesses everywhere worldwide are suffering because of COVID-19. Right. Now, a little background about Philip Bank PLC. We are actually part of Philip Capital Group that is based in Singapore. And then Philip Capital was actually founded in 1975. So Philip Bank is actually the only, well, I would say, Singapore flavored bank in Cambodia today, because the owner, the founder is actually Singaporean. So there's no DBS here, there's no OUB, OCBC. So we are, in fact, we are very proud to be the first, I would say, Singapore flavored bank in Cambodia, right? So Philip Capital, we are an integrated Asian financial house. We have a growing global presence everywhere, right? We are using IT. We are as a distribution tool. Is our core competency in the provision of financial services in our business. So some corporate profile of Philip Capital Group, mentioned at the beginning, it is actually established in 1975 by the chairman, Mr. Lim Wah Ming, who is still actively helming the company today. The company started up as a stockbroker, right, called Philip Securities at the time of inception. And today it has grown into an integrated Asian financial house. We have global presence in more than 15 countries worldwide. We have a full range of retails and retails and services to retail and high net worth individuals. We offer services, financial services to family offices, corporate, and also institutional customers. As of today, we have a total asset under custody or management of more than US $35 billion. And our shareholders fund is in excess of $2 billion. And yeah, we have 5,000 employees over 15 countries, and we are serving more than 1 million clients worldwide. So this is a snapshot of our presence of Philip Capital Group, their business all over the world in more than 15 countries, including India as well. We have a securities company in India called Philip Securities as well, right? And right, so this is some of our products and services snapshot. We are stockbroking is our main bread and butter, but after that we have diversifying the private equity, we are diversifying to corporate finance, future derivatives, wealth management, and so on, as mentioned in this screen. And last but not least, also commercial banking in Cambodia. So in the group we are in the group in Cambodia, we are the only commercial banking licensed business doing banking business in Cambodia in this group as well. And okay, our presence in Cambodia for the past more than 10 years now, in Philip Capital, because in Cambodia we not only have a bank. So first of all, we have a bank called Philip Bank, commercial bank with 89 branches throughout Cambodia, making us one of the largest commercial banks in the country in terms of branch network. And we actually merged with another sister company that's also owned by Philip Capital this year. The company is called Credit Microfinance Institutions. So Credit Microfinance Institutions is a company or institutions that provide loans to the lower segment of the market, more like the micro loans and the SME loans. Whereas Philip Bank, as a commercial bank, we offer loans to SME, to retail, to corporate clients. And in January this year, we successfully merged the two entities together. So today we are called Philip Bank with presence all over the country. Besides the bank, our Philip Capital Group also owns a Philip General Insurance, offering all types of general insurance services like car insurance, insurance for car, insurance for properties, and so on and so forth. We also have Philip Life Assurance operating today. So in terms of Cambodia, we are actually more like an ecosystem today, offering various financial products and services to our clients. And we also have a first sister company called First Finance PLC, which specializes in mortgage loan. And over the past 10 years, the group has actually invested over 100 million in Cambodia by building in this ecosystem of company that offer financial services products to our customers, right, from banking all the way to insurance. Now, talking about economies in Cambodia or SMEs in Cambodia. Now, as this picture has mentioned, basically there are four main activities or economic activities in Cambodia. Right, the biggest one today is still the garment manufacturing, and then we have the real estate investment, construction and real estate. We have tourism industry, which is also a very lucrative income generator in Cambodia until COVID hit us. And also we are also in Cambodia also very involved in agriculture sector as well. In fact, we have started to export tons and tons of rice is our main so-called agricultural product. But besides other products like cassava, pepper, there are lots of agricultural products. And in fact, the National Cambodia also, the government has actually encouraged investment towards this agriculture sector during this pandemic period as well, because we feel that everybody needs to eat, and agriculture sector is a very viable sector going forward. But because we see that the tourism sector will really hit during this time, right? The growth has really been dampened because of COVID-19. There are almost zero tourists coming to Cambodia today because of the lockdown, because of all the restriction of traveling, and many hotels in the main tourist destination of Cambodia, which is Siem Reap. We see that many hotels have been shut down, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently, because of this COVID-19. The totally no foreign tourists coming in, and currently we are all depending on the domestic tourism to help sustain the economy of this tourism sector in Cambodia, right? And some statistics from the Ministry of Industry and Handicraft in Cambodia. So we see SME, again, like everywhere else, it plays a very important role in the country economy, especially also as Cambodia as well. It provides 70% of employment, and 99.8% of the companies are all categorized as a SME in Cambodia. And the SME sector actually contributed 58% to the GDP of Cambodia. Right. So there are a few sectors that under this SME are very active in, which is agriculture, manufacturing, more towards the garment manufacturing, restaurant, hotel, transportation, and social and related community services. Right. Now, in terms of definition of SME in Cambodia, it can be defined by two methods, right? Based on the capital that the company invested in, and also based on the number of employees. So there are four different sector or four types of SME in Cambodia, which is a micro, and small, and medium, and large. Right? Micro, what is considered as a micro SME, where your capital is only 50,000 and below, and your employee is less than 10, all the way up to the what is considered as a large large SME, which is whereby your capital is more than $500,000 and the number of employees is more than 100. Now, going down next is another statistics from the Ministry of Economy, Industry and Handicraft in Cambodia. Manufacturing statistics in Cambodia, right? So when he mentioned about large industry, there are 1,522 factories registered in Cambodia, and the employ about more than 982,000 employees. Now, by and large, this industry, most of the industry today, factories are more geared towards garment manufacturing. Which is the main industry in Cambodia for the past 1 decade or so. But having said that, more and more new industry have also been established in Cambodia. Today, government acknowledge that there's a need to diversify the industry, not just depending on the garment manufacturing, but to other industry as well. So today we have some electronic industry in Cambodia. We have many. Cambodia has also established many special economic zone where all these factory can come in and do business in Cambodia with a very so-called investment friendly strategies or investment friendly policy, right? So besides garment factory, we have manufacturing industry now. We also into the small we call that electronic and electrical manufacturing as well. So we have assembly like shoe manufacturing, bag manufacturing. We even have a bicycle manufacturing industry, which is also quite vibrant in Cambodia today. So that's a large industry. And then for the MSME industry, right, there are largely 155,000 MSME in Cambodia registered, and out of that, SME consists of 15,000, more or less. I mean, the biggest of the SME is a micro, which is 139,000 or 140,000 SME, micro SME, which employ over 1 million employees countrywide or worldwide, only countrywide in Cambodia. And now, financing. Talking about the common we call that issue faced by SME when you talk about accessing to taking a bank loan. This is, I'm sure this list here is not only specific to Cambodia. Everywhere, I'm sure everywhere in the world, all the SME and micro SME are facing the same issue. It's very hard to get loan from financial institutions, and if they get a loan from the financial institution, usually the interest rate will be high because the interest rate will also tend to be higher. And in terms of term of loan, because of the customer that is perceived as high risk, therefore usually the bank will offer them a shorter loan period, probably 1 year to 2 years. And then usually banks also require lots of documentation to support the loan application from an SME and micro SME customer. And then sometimes as the SME is more towards you are more like a family-owned business or family business. You know, the father and mother started the business, and the children subsequently take over. And after that, probably the parents retire, and then the children will take over the helm of the business, and so on and so forth. So it's a very today still very old, very family-owned business, and whereby the in terms of financial statement, they don't actually have a very good knowledge about how to prepare a proper financial statement when they go to the bank to submit their loan application. Collateral matter is also a big issue because some of them they don't have the collateral, or they have because their land or their house or their asset is not much of a value, and therefore the bank, because they are high risk, bank will tend to also place a very high importance on the availability of collateral for them to give the lending to the SMEs. Now, same likewise, challenges faced by commercial bank to finance SME is more or less we are in the same boat. Why we find it difficult to give loan to SME? Because SME have poor financial record, right? Most of them don't have audited financial statement. Don't talk about audited financial statement. Some of the basic financial statement like profit and loss and balance sheet, most of the SME that we come across, we actually don't they don't know how to prepare this for us, right? But what we have done, Philippines has done, is we actually go and observe their businesses, and we help them based on whatever document that they have. We actually go down, our credit officer will actually go down to their shop, to the place of business, and we actually observe what they are doing, and help them to actually create a simple income statement to support their loan application to the bank, right? Now, lack of information about the amount of debt owned by SME and their repayment record. Now, this is before we have a credit bureau in Cambodia, started a number of years back. Now that we have a CBC, or Credit Bureau Cambodia, and this is where it's much easier today for the bank to assess the repayment capacity of the borrower, because every time you go to the bank now and take a loan from the bank will actually so-called report you to this centralized credit bureau, and all the banks will share this information and knowledge of the borrowers to each other. And by this, now we will know the repayment record of these borrowers, whether it's good or it's bad. Right? And the CBC has done a very, very good job over the years. And in fact, recently, they have even come up with another tool to help the bank, whereby they can actually, based on the our so-called query of these particular borrowers, they actually have analytical tools to predict the quality of the borrower. So this is a very, very good service that has or service that has been so-called offered by the CBC today. They have all the quality, they have all the data of the customers, and using the data analytics, they will be able to give more or less a projection or credit score. In fact, they give a credit score about these particular borrowers, right? But however, now some of the SMEs and microloan borrowers, some of them don't not only take loan from the licensed banks or licensed financial institutions like MSME, like commercial bank and the microfinance institutions. Many of them also take loan from, we call it private money lenders. So these private money lenders are more or less, we call that loan shark in Malaysia. Right? They are just basically purely based on asset-based lending. How much collateral you have, and based on the collateral, we will give you the loan. If you cannot pay, we will take over the collateral. So, but of course, it's very, very easy to get a loan from this private money lender because they do not need to get all these financial documentation or supporting document to support your loan. Right? What they need is just your ID card, the particular the particular of your property, maybe a title deed of your property. If it's good, if once they can know the value of your property, they will just give you a loan up to a certain level, and that's it. So private money lender is a very, very easy way for borrowers to get loan, but also it actually stifles the businesses, and because they cannot pay, the private debt private lender will actually take over your collateral, which is bad for the borrowers. Now, again, many banks in Cambodia are also, we call it asset-based lending, and because of the lack of collateral or not suitable collateral, we also can't lend to you. But in Phillip Bank, for us, our first priority is we want to see your value, first of all, we want to see your repayment ability. If your repayment is no good, don't talk about collateral. We will not be able to give you the loan. So in Phillip Bank, what we do is we actually look at your repayment capacity. We look at the viability of your business. We actually go down to the field and observe your business. So once we can identify and verify that your business is genuine and you can generate an acceptable amount of profit per month, then we will be able to offer you the loan. And the collateral is just a fallback on. And in fact, some of our loans today, we actually offer a clean loan to our borrowers. Not depending on the collateral, but depending on their cash flow. In fact, to some of our SMEs. Now, there's in Cambodia, in terms of judicial system, in terms of court process, it is still quite weak in terms of enforcing our rights to go to the court to get the court to auction the property. It is a long protected, we call that activity. Personally, in Cambodia, I have come across for me to get a court to auction the property, it can take up to 1 to 2 years just to get the court to call for an auction of property. So it's a very, very long-winded and protected court process. So therefore, our bank, as far as the bank is concerned, we like to have in case when the loan turn NPL, we like to have an out-of-court settlement with our borrower as much as possible. Now, lending to SMEs. Just now we talk about how can the SME get funding from the banks. In terms of lending to SME, the commercial bank, because SME, as I mentioned at the beginning, almost 98% of the business sector in Cambodia is called SME sector. So all the commercial banks and microfinance still offer financing to the SME sectors, including Phillip Bank. And of course, every bank have their own lending parameters in regards to lending, right? Which customer segment you want to target? Some are very specialized. Some financial institution, they target maybe the agriculture sector. Some to the maybe the government manufacturing sector. So depending on each what do you call that, capability of each individual bank, where they want to target their lending to, right? What segment do they want to target in terms of loan amount, in terms of facilities, in terms of interest rate? So in Cambodia, the National Bank of Cambodia has actually given the bank the flexibility to charge an interest rate. But then they have a cap, right? In Cambodia, you cannot charge an interest rate of more than 18% per annum in your lending. So that is something that the National Bank of Cambodia has instituted, so that we will not overcharge the borrowers. Repayment period can go from 1 year up to 10 years or 15 years, depending, right? And more or less depending on the type of collateral and loan to value ratio. Right. So in terms of banking in Cambodia, overall banking in Cambodia, how have the banks support the SME? We can see from the statistic by the end of December 2019, outstanding loans from banks and microfinance institutions reached 28.8 billion in this country. I'm sure it's very, very small compared to India, but in terms of Cambodia, it is the largest to date. And every year, Cambodia, in terms of lending, has been growing consistently over the past 2 decades. Total deposits is about 30.5 billion collected throughout the banking industry. Cambodia GDP is about 26.7 billion in 2019, estimated. And then, and then this is a very interesting fact. By the end of 2019, in Cambodia banking system, we have 47 commercial banks operating in Cambodia. We have 15 specialized banks. We have 7, we call it microfinance with the deposit taking license, 76 microfinance institutions, 245 rural credit operators, and 15 financial leasing companies. And all this is supporting or servicing 15 million or 16 million Cambodian populations in Cambodia today. So we have about 16 million population in Cambodia, plus maybe another 1 to 2 million foreign workers like me. So it's a very, very competitive industry or banking industry in Cambodia today, right? And now during this during this COVID-19 period in Cambodia, the government has actually come in to support the SME to help them to sustain during this period. Like everywhere in the world, SMEs in Cambodia are suffering. Many hotels and restaurants have closed down during the pandemic, and people has been laid off or experience salary cut. And how can the government actually come up with some steps to help with support this SME during this period? Right. One of them is they established. The Cambodia government actually established the SME ban in Cambodia under the Ministry of Economy and Finance this year, with the sole purpose to support the SME sector. And early this year in April, when during the peak pandemic period, the SME bank and the Cambodia Commercial Bank, together with this microfinance, 32 of us have jointly launched this 100 million government SME co-financing scheme to support the so-called priority sector or priority SME in Cambodia this year. And as at October this year, all the 100 million fund has been fully utilized to support the SME sector in Cambodia. So Phillip Bank is one of the 32 commercial banks and the financial microfinance institutions that participated in this scheme. We have also actively support the SME sectors to help them to sustain during this period, right? And recently in September 2020, the government has actually approved the establishment of this credit Guarantee Corporation of Cambodia, CGCC, in this year. So this is where government will actually come in to guarantee the bank so that the bank will be able to have more risk appetite to give loan to the SME sectors and guarantee by this CGC. So with this in place, the bank hopefully will not solely depend on the asset-based lending, but move towards asset-based cash flow financing in order to support the SME in Cambodia. And also, yeah, during this period, National Bank of Cambodia actually came out in April this year to actually advise or persuade the bank and all the MFI to give loan moratorium to the borrowers during this COVID-19 period. So for the past 6 months, we have actually give many so-called loan indulgence to our customers, people who cannot survive, people who have difficulty having cash flow problem. We actually give them loan indulgence. Either they service only the interest for 6 months, or they do not even need to service anything at all for 6 months. Because we have come across some customers who are involved in the hotel industry, totally zero income, and we actually take note of that. We sympathize with them, we can empathize with them, and we actually give them the what do you call that, low moratorium, where they do not need to pay anything at all for 6 months. Now this 6 months is almost over. And we know, and look at the situation today in Cambodia. It has not improved yet. COVID-19 is still very serious in this country, and we're actually taking action. We actually took action. We have taken action already to actually extend the moratorium for some of our borrowers to for another 6 months to help them during this period as well. Right. And there are other support that the government and the banks have also helped to the SME sector in Cambodia. The government actually have come up with a strategy like to give some of the sectors in Cambodia like a tax break. In fact, some of the government factory workers that has been laid off, the government actually came in and to support the government factory worker by giving them $30 during this period to help them to during this period. And even the poor sectors in Cambodia, the poor people in Cambodia, the government has also came in and actually give them money, give them some money on a monthly basis to support them during this pandemic period as well. Right. So now talking about how India, and lastly, this is a topic. Talking about India and ASEAN cooperation in the banking sector. In fact, if you look at the ASEAN in the ASEAN webpage, there is this G2G cooperation between India and ASEAN today. We call it Plan of Action. They call it Plan of Action (POA) to implement this ASEAN-India partnership for peace, progress, and shared prosperity 2021 to 2025. Now, every 5 years they have this Plan of Action. And then the next plan of action is from 2021 to 2025. What does it constitute in this action? In this implementation of this POA, so ASEAN and India, they will actually work toward supporting the ASEAN community in terms of building the integration process, including India and Cambodia, India ASEAN. Sorry, can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Right. Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So, excuse me for a while. Sorry, it's getting dark in the Phnom Penh. Right. So now this the ASEAN and India will work together and support ASEAN community building and to help to achieve the ASEAN 2025 goals. And all right, so ASEAN country and India will endeavor pursue all cooperation in many areas. There are 4 categories: that political and security cooperation, economic cooperation, social and cultural cooperation, and also cross-pillar cooperation. So interesting that just now we mentioned about how ASEAN has signed the RCEP agreement with China, with Japan. But at the same time, ASEAN and India are also working together in terms of this plan of action. And I read that in this RCEP, they are also giving we call that a wild card to India, that you are welcome to join us this RCEP in the next 18 months. With you do not need to actually apply to join this RCEP. So that's good news for this India. If they're going to join RCEP in the next 18 months, right? So in terms of this, we call that economic cooperation specifically, there are a few subcategories for this cooperation in terms of trade and investment, in terms of finance, in terms of energy, transportation, food, agriculture, and forestry, ICT, tourism, science, technology, and innovation. But specifically for finance, what does this involve in this cooperation? Is actually 2 things under the finance, which is to explore strengthening cooperation to improve on the financial infrastructure development and capital market development with a view to promoting sustainable growth between the 2 regions, and also to support the regional financial development and integration through initiatives that promote greater financial inclusion. So these are the 2 very broad categories of in terms of financial cooperation between ASEAN and India for 2021 to 2025. But I can say that in terms of banking in Cambodia today, in terms of ASEAN, for ASEAN countries, all the central bankers of ASEAN are also working very, very closely together in terms of be able to have, in fact, they are talking about a shared network amongst the ASEAN countries, where I can actually take my, I can actually use my Philip Bank ATM card in Cambodia and go to a bank in Singapore, for example, and I can go to DBS. I can go to the ATM in DBS ATM using my Philip Bank ATM card to withdraw money in this ATM card in DBS Singapore. So this is their plan, their broad strategy going forward in terms of collaboration between the banks in the ASEAN region. So I can see that in the bankers, the central bankers are working very, very closely with each other in the ASEAN region. Right. So this is my last presentation for today, and I would say in terms of SME, the bank in Cambodia, we love, or we are there to support the SME because this is our core business, right? To support the SME because we know the SME is the backbone of the economy in this country, and going forward, our bank is also taking actions in order to not to be so dependent on the asset-based lending, but to more and more towards cash flow financing. We are exploring things like invoice discounting or factoring businesses, and also using the data analytics more aggressively in order to evaluate our customers, not just purely on their asset, but also their business going forward. So we are here to support the SME, and we know that SME is the backbone of the country, and by and large, SME in Cambodia has also been supported by the government as well. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm open to any questions from anyone going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Han. I don't know, Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji and Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji. I don't think we could have anything better than this presentation, because this answers almost everything that we needed and we had asked for. I'm sure the viewers if they do not have any questions after this such a beautiful presentation, I will have started doubting whether they actually listened or not. So I would like to first pose few questions to prove that I was a very good listener to all through your presentation. Now, Mr. Han, the very, very elaborate descriptions of, I think you covered whatever we were thinking of. And at times I'm thinking, rather than having 2-3 speakers in one show, if I have one who can really, because 10 minutes sometimes may not be enough. So now today, because we had one speaker, you could actually touch base upon all the points that we were looking for. Extremely well narrated on the SME sectors, how people can move ahead and take loans and requests from the banks in this hard times of COVID time. But few questions before others may have. I'm sure Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji and Gulshan ji and other viewers will have few questions. But if I can take permission to ask a few to Mr. Han first. You said that sometimes SME sectors have poor financial records. Now, is that because of this present COVID situation that the business is down? Or is it a general phenomenon that the records of financial states are not good in SME?
But this is not just because of COVID. This has been a long time issue for the past, even for the past 15 years I'm here.
Even in the past.
All the SMEs have difficulties coming out with the proper P&L. More or less, there's no motivation to do so because it's not required by the government, by the Ministry of Commerce, for example. They do not need to actually register with the Ministry of Commerce to do business. That was before, but the Ministry of Commerce or government actually now taken steps to encourage company to be incorporated and to prepare a proper financial statements. So yeah, historically, this is an issue that bank face. Family business, they don't see the need to prepare an income statement. As long as they know that they make profit, they are happy.
Correct. Okay. Then you talked about quality of borrowers by CBC, which manages the data analysis of the borrowers. Now, does that mean that the moment somebody asks for a loan, their past history, how many years do you think it is covered? I mean, if somebody has a defaulter and he moves from one bank to the other, so I'm sure the internal bank system would be sharing this information that Mr. So-and-so has been borrowing from a bank, has been a defaulter, so that he cannot take any other loan from any other bank, or he cannot take loan from your bank again.
Okay, now depending on each bank, they have the CBC will have a record of all these bad debt, all the default, all the loan and NPL, loan has been written off. The record will be there in the CBC record. Then it depends on each individual bank how they want to assess the application. Maybe the borrower the loan turn NPL maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, but today he has turned around, he has improved, he has shown his capability. Then the bank will look at it favorably. I mean, this is a record for bank to analyze to know the past record of the borrower. Of course, if the repayment is good, easy. If the repayment is not good, then the applicant will have will need to so-called convince the bankers why today they have turned around and they can pay the bank loan.
Then my next question to you is, you talked about loans from private money lenders, which you call as money sharks or something in Malaysia.
Loan shark.
Loan sharks. Okay, I think we also have also that in this region. Now I understand those loan sharks. What we are saying, the interest rates would be very high. Now I do keep getting, this may be a hypothetical situation. I'm just giving you an example, just a hypothetical situation. Wherein suppose, I mean, because I keep getting these kind of requests from people just to find out. I mean, they ask us, like, suppose somebody has, he's in either business or he is in service and has been, able to pay off all his loans for years. But suppose now, because of this COVID situation, he gets stuck. Now, suppose he has taken a flat he has bought a flat on installment. Now he has been given an installment for last, say example, he takes for 5 years. 4 years he has been able to give the loan successfully. But because of this present situation globally, which is we all know, he is not able to pay, example. But the place is there, it is suppose 85% paid off, and he is getting stuck because of this 10-15%, which he is not able to pay back because of the present scenario. In such a situation, and there is a threat example from the loan company that they will confiscate their property if they are not able to pay. They might give them 5-6 months time. Now, in such a situation, if they come to your bank, I mean, where you said you have beautiful ways of loaning system. So when the structure is still there, 85%, 90% paid off, and that gentleman, person, he or she is stuck. Now, in that situation, it's a private loan, mind you. Will your bank be able to help them? Maybe they pay back the balance amount. So, for example, 10,000 is left or 15,000 is left to be paid back. And that guy is stuck because of the present scenario. In such a situation, can your bank pay off on his behalf, take the papers of their flat or property and give them that time limit to pay as and when he can, but at least his property is secured? Because what happens is, when these people say that you have been defaulting for 6 months, so we are confiscating your property. So the poor guy who has been paying out of his, hard-earned money tends to lose the entire property. In such a case, is your bank willing to take that responsibility, help him out with that meager amount which is left, take the papers, keep with the bank, and when situation improves, he can pay off maybe whatever interest is required? Is that possible?
Oh, you mean this borrower take a loan from the private money lender?
No, private money lender, as I know, as you call it, as a loan shark. What I'm saying is, suppose, example, okay, me, any name you can give. I bought a small property. Say $100,000. I took a flat. I have been paying it to that.
Take a loan from the bank.
No, we took a loan, or probably we paid from our resources, but we have been paying installment for that flat that we have bought.
To the bank.
Suppose example I have bought, okay?
Yeah,
now,
to the bank.
To the bank. So say 90% of it I have paid off. Last 6 months, 8 months, I have not been able to pay, example, because of the situation of business or whatever you say, because we all know. Now the bank, that loan bank says, or that property owner, whoever of that building, it's a flat, suppose, he says that now since you have not paid for 6 months, so I am confiscating your property and the entire investment that you have done is gone. In such a case, what does that guy do? Can he come to your bank and you take the property as your property of the bank till he pays off the balance 10,000-15,000 amount? Is that possible? And if so, what would be the interest for doing so?
I mean, this talk about refinancing, right? Refinancing a loan from another bank so that he can pay, so that he can continue to, stay in the house.
Right.
But if you say, talking about this guy taking a loan from a bank today, now no banks in Cambodia today will be so, we call it so nasty as to go and confiscate the house, because everybody knows that this is a difficult period. People are facing the job losses or salary cut. That's why the bank actually came in and gave moratorium for 6 months in the beginning of this year or middle of this year. And we are actually, most of the bank will consider favorably to roll over the moratorium for another 6 months or so. Right. So we will see that the banks today, in fact, the government of Cambodia today has also asked the bank to be, try not to be so vicious or take such a serious or drastic action during this period to go and confiscate somebody's house to pay off the loan during this time. So in this scenario, I would say the bank will not take any legal action against this borrower, but he will be more willing to allow extension to the borrowers. But if he were to come to the bank, and in fact, if you come to the Phillip Bank, the first question we will always ask, the first principle for lending is whether you can pay the loan or not. That's the first principle, the first criteria for us to assess the whether somebody can get a loan from the bank, whether you're able to repay the loan or not. So if you come to me, you say that you're out of job, you got no income, then there's no way for me to give you a loan to refinance your loan from another bank, because then I will be just taking over the trouble that you are facing another bank to my bank, and if the cycle will continue.
Ramesh Kodammal wanted to speak. Dato? Yes, please.
Your mic is mute, sir. Your mic is mute.
I just want to add on to what you had said and Mr. Han has said. You were talking of a private lender who has lent money, and that guy has paid 85% and got balance 15% to pay. So now when he goes back to the bank will reevaluate his asset and to see whether he can borrow. Is he in a position to borrow from the bank? If he can, then he can borrow from the bank and pay back to the money lender and clear the liability, and the loan becomes with the bank rather than with the money lender. So I think the bottom line is the credit rating of someone must be good first before he can borrow from the bank. That is the bottom line. Paying off to the money lender, there's a private relationship between the along, that is the lender, and the borrower. So he must make arrangements to pay him off, and how he pays off, whether that guy is allowing him to transfer the asset to the bank, because he'll have all the documents in his hands. So these are complicated things when you borrow from an unlicensed money lender, which you could call it. So I think basically we should advise all SMEs not to borrow from unlicensed money lenders, because when they get into a problem, it's difficult to come out of the trap. That was your question. And I think Mr. Han was repeatedly telling you that the banks are willing to support, but the banks also would like to evaluate the person's credit standing, whether he can borrow the loan. So the bottom line is, don't borrow from illegal money lenders. And if you have paid 85%, raise the balance 15%, pay off the asset, get your asset free, go to the bank and borrow with your good credit standing. That's the formula.
Now, what if suppose it is not a private money lender? Example, I'm just giving again a hypothetical situation. Suppose there are buildings, flats, which is owned not by money lenders. It is owned by institutions, and he has taken it from them. So he is paying installment. Like suppose example, there is a condo.
Okay.
Maybe 12-story building, and you have 4 flats in each. And the gentleman from his own earnings has been able to pay the monthly installments, because normally when they buy, there is a down payment of 20-30%.
Did he borrow from the developer?
Yeah, from a developer. It's developer. I'm not talking about private. I'm not talking about private.
No, so he has borrowed from the developer.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, suppose see the houses of a developer. Houses of the flats are of the developer. Yes. Example, I have taken a flat, maybe two bedroom. I paid a 20% down payment, and I give monthly installment for 5 years. Okay. Yes. From my service only, I'm taking and I'm paying from my house. Now 4 years I have paid. Now this year I am not able to, because my salary has been cut to half. So I cannot manage my expenses. So how do I pay back that EMI which I am supposed to?
Well, first of all, when you have done an agreement with a developer, there must be a structure of payment.
Correct. There is. Yes.
I don't think there will be a clause. If you don't pay, they are going to confiscate the apartment. There will be a penalty interest to be paid rather than confiscating the whole apartment. So the technical lies in the agreement what is stated. So if you buy an apartment and you are tying up with a developer, it will be stated in the agreement, the default clause. That means you have paid 85%. The balance of the 15%, there will be some late penalty charges. Instead of 18%, it might come to what you call a 30% per annum. So you have to bear the additional cost to clear the loan. In the meantime, if you have such a problem, you should go to the bank to say that you want to apply for the housing loan from the bank. The bank will take the apartment as a security, then you pay off the developer, and you have.
That is what I am saying. That is what I'm saying.
It can be done. So the bankers are there to take the security, but your credit standing must be of good standing, because in Malaysia, we have got the SICRIs, we have got the SICOs. In the SICRIs, if you default with any bank, your loan payment, your credit card payment is highlighted. And in SICOs, if you have got any litigations against you, it is highlighted. So the banking system in Malaysia comes to know your credit rating instantly. So you cannot say that I have got a problem and I am hiding it. There's no such thing as hiding a problem in Malaysia with the institutions here. Like in America, if you want your credit card, they will first ask you whether you have paid your utilities bill.
Right.
They see you, they see your credit standing on your utilities bill. So I think the concepts are coming differently all around the world. And I think we should be very aware of this. Yeah.
Exactly. What I was trying to point, you have got it rightly. This is what I was telling. Suppose it's a contractor and he was paying off from that his salaries. He could not for last 6 months because they would have given him an extension. Okay, you can take another 6 months. He defaulted in that 6 months. So after that, if they are saying that we will take back the property or confiscate the property, in such a case, Mr. Han, my question to you is, in that case, can the bank take over the property papers, clear off it to the contractor or the constructor, and then let him pay back as whatever time period he wants? Is that possible?
That's possible. That's possible.
Sorry?
Majumdar Sahab, let's take it into the Indian context. What Dato Ramesh ji told, very simple. If I have already paid 85%, so if I'm unable to pay my rest of the payment timely, there will be a clause of the penalty. That means little extra interest or extra money to be paid, and that will be paid back. As far as the bank is concerned, bank, if I understand, like he mentioned 2 areas, in India it is called CIBIL score, CIBIL. If I am ever a defaulter on my credit card or on any repayments, it's called CIBIL score. And nowadays it is so transparent, it is visible across all the banks everywhere. Now, if Mr. Han is going to give me money in India, he will reevaluate my property according to his terms and conditions.
Not India. I'm talking about Cambodia because his bank is.
Now let's come on to.
Yeah, we are talking everything about Cambodia only, not India or Malaysia.
So
we are talking about Cambodia.
I think the bottom line is your credit rating must be good. The bank will support you. That's a.
So bank can support a private guy.
I mean, I understand where.
If you have a problem there, you will solve this problem. No problem. Because if the credit rating is good and if we need finance for a security, which is 85% paid up, there's no issue.
No issue. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I understand what Mr. Samdi has mentioned. He mentioned that. Hello.
Yeah, please, Mr. Han. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I understand what Mr. Samdi has mentioned about. This is a very peculiar situation in Cambodia. The developer are actually financing the borrowers, the buyers. And in fact, it's not actually we call it a shadow banking, right? Shadow banking. And the developer actually have a right in the agreement. It's more like a sales and purchase agreement. And in the sales and purchase agreement, there is even a clause for repayment schedule where customer can pay back the house for the next 10 years, 15 years. It's just like a bank installment. So instead of paying installment to the bank, they pay rental, they pay to the developer. And very, very common from developer point of view, if you don't pay for the 1-2 months, the payment, the developer got the right to take over the property because the property actually is still registered in the name of the developer. Very, very common. So in this situation, what Mr. Samdi has hypothesized just now, I'm sure developer today in Cambodia, they also will sympathize with the borrowers, with the buyers, knowing that this is everything, everywhere, everybody is suffering in Cambodia. But another option that the bank can help is maybe, okay, instead of maybe this guy is paying, let's say, $300 to the developer on a monthly basis. They come to the bank and maybe I can give you a small amount of loan, stretch the repayment period to maybe 10-15 years, and the repayment actually comes down to maybe $150 per month, and he can pay this amount. Then I'll be happy to, I'll be able to give him the loan, right? So-called to refinance from the property developer.
Okay, based on the half-paid property, not full-paid property, you can give a loan based on that.
again, depending on the repayment and the CBC,
structure.
The CBC record. Yeah.
Okay. And just a hyper came question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
please.
I got one question here.
Yeah.
You mentioned just now, Mr. Han, that the interest rate in Cambodia is 18%.
Highest, maximum.
Maximum. But what is the average present going interest rate?
10 to 12, I guess.
Housing loan? Yeah, housing loan in Cambodia, a mortgage loan ranging from 7 to 10% per annum.
Quite high also, compared to ASEAN countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia is high.
Yes. Our fixed deposit rate also high. The fixed deposit rate in Cambodia can range from can go as high as 6%.
You take your fixed deposit in the local currency?
US dollar and local currency as well, both currency.
In US dollar, are you giving 6%?
Yeah.
Fixed deposit?
Fixed deposit, 1 year.
Yeah.
In US dollars?
Yes.
Good.
Actually, there is one, they are good, they are giving 6%, and there is one more, Prakas or something, that is giving 7.5.
In US dollars?
In US dollars.
Institution.
So you can, Dato Ramesh is thinking of transferring all his money to Cambodia. That's
I think it's a good idea. Because 6% US dollars is fantastic.
No, we have Prakash something which is 7.5. 7 or 7.5. That's the highest. But they are not as big as their bank. Their bank is, as you have seen in the presentation, and with 35 billion.
I'll invest in Philip Bank because I know the background in Singapore.
That's okay. That's good. Philip Bank is next door. So Mr. Han, you should be happy. I got a customer, rich customer for you today.
Rich customer, yeah. Dato Ramesh, yeah. Feel free to talk to me, email to me, or call.
So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. It was wonderful to have all of you. Thank you very much, Dato Ramesh Kodammal ji. Thank you very much, Mr. Han Pang. Thank you very much, Sandeep Majumdar ji. Have a safe evening, wonderful evening. ASEAN should grow. We all should grow. Look forward to meeting you next Sunday, 3 p.m. I've got a next program.